Welcome to another exciting edition to GroveCityHockey Presents
Hockey in our neck of the woods, and you, sir, were a very talked about person towards the end.
I'm a fifth-year senior, kind of. Well, it's my sixth year of college. Incredible.
Hey guys, we want to say thank you to our sponsor, Cut Shield, for bringing you this episode. Make sure you check them out on the link below and use the promo code for 25% off your order. Used by all 32 NHL teams and players, Cut Shield is the premier protective player clothing designed by players for players. Their innovative cut-resistant clothing has prevented serious injury to numerous players, including over 30 NHL players. Cut Shield gives you the peace of mind to go out and play without worrying about injury. Use our promo code GroveCityHockey, all lowercase and no space, for an additional 25% off your order today. Welcome to GCH Podcast. I'm your host, Ben W. Stock, and with me is a very special guest. I've got a former boss of mine, Ryan Mapes of the Mapes Mindset, coming on to talk to us about his new project that he's got going on. Ryan, my man, how is it going?
Hey, I'm doing well tonight. Excited to be here. Thanks for having me. How are you doing?
Oh, fantastic. You know, it's one of those things where we hadn't really had a chance to catch up with each other since we last worked together. We both went our separate ways from our previous company, and it seems to be working out pretty well for you and not so much for me, but we'll get through it.
I wouldn't say that. Look what you got going here. I mean, it seems like you got a pretty good thing going with your podcast.
Yeah, no, I'm very lucky and very blessed to be able to produce in this show. I love it, absolutely, hands down. We got some pretty big guests coming on here in the future as well. That this is predominantly a hockey podcast, more so inline hockey. You didn't really know too much about inline hockey or even my backstory before we started working together at Shape. But I had played professionally years ago, back in 2008, got hurt in late 2010, early 2011, had to have back surgery in 2015, and then retired cold turkey. Didn't even look at a hockey rink or anything like that until just a couple years ago. When my son was a year and a half, I think, is when I finally stepped foot into a rink, and he's now 4. And now I'm getting ready to get back into and play in a tournament. I still have a long ways to go for that. But so I mean, almost 10 years from start to finish where I'll be able to, lace up the skates again and jump back out there and start playing, for one more tourney before I officially retire.
That's awesome, man. That's an amazing story. Good for you.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I probably could have came back a lot sooner, but with the way that my life was going, you had met me kind of like right at the start of my divorce. So I was not a happy person to be around, and you and I have had our battles back and forth. But which is why I wanted to bring you on, because you have the Mapes Mindset, which is I don't even know how to really describe it, but it's more of a one-on-one coaching, as well as some other tools that you have to help with, getting through some of those difficult times, but the attitude adjustments that are needed in life, and those perspectives that you have. So I wanted to bring you on to kind of share us a little bit about that. So why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about what the Mapes Mindset really is?
So my brother and I have, for the last year or so, we were working on a podcast, and we geared it towards leadership. We had a background in leadership, like you had mentioned. I was your boss at a previous company. I came up through supervision. I had owned a company, had people working under me. So I had a lot of leadership experience. He had leadership experience through his military. He was in the Marine Corps for 6 or 8 years. So he had quite a bit of leadership experience as being a team leader in the Marines. And so we wanted to just chat between the two of us and build our relationship and explore how to be a better leader in your day-to-day life, at home, at work, everywhere you go. And as we got more into that, we kind of realized it wasn't us. And as we sat and talked more and more, we realized it's not the leadership that drives and motivates us. It's the growth mindset that we both kind of developed through the years, through our own personal struggles and having to look inwards and figure out how to solve life's questions and be able to move forward and not screw everything up. And although there's many screw ups along the way, working to try to eliminate those and keep the peace, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. But and so as we talked more about that and we explored that growth mindset, and that led us to creating this MAPES mindset. And our goal is to build a community of positive thinkers and problem solvers that are willing to put their egos aside in an effort to look inward and fix the true problems. All too often, we point the fingers outwards, especially nowadays. Society, it's always somebody else's fault that you're not where you're supposed to be. And our goal is to show that that's not the correct way to think. You're going to be way more efficient to look inward, realize how you can better change the outcome for yourself.
Yeah, it's like the quote from the line in Never Back Down. Control your breathing. You can control the outcome. So in essence, is when there's a shitstorm going, don't get worked up. Control your breathing. Right. Breathe, relax, and you'll be able to think your way through things and work your way through. Another way to think about it for all those hunters that may be watching is that when you see that big monster buck coming in and you're just all shaking because you're just super nervous, take a breath.
Right, exactly.
Line up and take the shot, and you got
to get that adrenaline, that buck fever under control.
Exactly. And I know I got rid of my buck fever in Africa. So then anytime I go hunting now, I don't even get the shit. I don't even get anything. So it's just.
I'll need to hear that story at some point.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's actually a pretty good one. But yeah, so it's just like you didn't have time to react. But yeah, just think about all the practice that you put in for, whether it is your bow hunting or your target shooting. Right. That's what you got. You got to have that same mentality when you go out to the field. Exactly. Because if you don't have that mentality and you mess up and you injure that animal, now you just compromise that animal's health for life.
Even ethically at that point, if you throw in the towel and say, oh, well, there's not enough blood, I'm not going to waste my time tracking it. Or yes, a tracking dog might cost $100, $150, maybe $200. It's not worth it. Ethically, right. You're wrong. And that entire mindset is what we're trying to teach, and just how to be that bigger person. Take the road less traveled, if you will.
Yeah. Now, you're actually one of my first non-hockey playing guests that I've had on the show. Everybody I've had on has had experience playing not only ice at some point, but definitely inline. So you and I were talking a little bit earlier today.
Well, I'm excited to bring a little bit different aspect to your guests.
Exactly.
To your listeners.
But tell us a little bit about your experience with hockey, because it's completely different than the norm, I will say.
My experience with hockey is extremely minimal. I remember growing up, we are in West Michigan, so we've got the Grand Rapids Griffins as a local team. I was in the Boy Scouts growing up, so I remember getting tickets multiple times where we'd go as group events to Griffins games. I remember winning tickets a few different times throughout grade school or whatever. So I always went to the Griffins games when I was growing up, and then pretty much nothing for a long time. I never really watched it. We were a hockey or a football and baseball family, so that was all that was ever on TV. Wasn't until recently when one of my girls brought her boyfriend home and he plays hockey, and they started talking about it more and more. We actually bought him a ticket to a Griffins game for a Christmas present, and took the four of us all went, and I was like, man, it's kind of fun. Like, this is exciting. I guess I understand it more now as an adult rather than a little kid. Just waiting for the fight was all I was doing when I was a kid. Wanted to see some blood. Now I actually enjoy the action. And then after that, I started hearing about the Wings and how good they were doing, and they were in the wild card spot. And so I was like, well, screw it. I'll turn on the game. And I don't know how many of their last few games were like down to the wire, seconds left, and they would score a goal to win it or tie it or whatever. But the first couple of games I turned on, I was like, man, these have been some good games, and they're in the playoff hunt. Then Larkin got hurt, and they lost 7 in a row and got out of the playoff hunt. And then they were back in it again and barely missed it on their last game. And so I've been watching ever since then. And now the playoffs are going on, and it's been fun to watch. So that's my experience with hockey.
And it's funny that you mentioned Larkin because he I don't know if you know this, but he actually plays roller hockey. And
does he?
He played.
I'm sure they all play every chance they get, just like any athlete.
Well, some yes, some no. Others, there's still a little bit of a stigma. Any sport. Right. But yeah, you have Alex DeBrincat. He also plays, and then Adam Ernie, who was on the Red Wings last year. He's actually plays with one of the guys that I've interviewed a couple of his teammates.
Okay.
But Dylan. Yeah, but Dylan Larkin, I had one of his how do I say, like, his teammates from when he was in youth, because there was he's from the east side. There's a lot of youth roller hockey over on that side, and the program that was going up over there was the Detroit Border Cats, and owner Matt Kozlowski and his stepson Drew Height was in that program, and Dylan came through that particular program a couple of times, and he's gone to Narch and all that stuff.
That's pretty cool
with Alex. So I've reached out to him a couple of times to see if I can't get him on the pod to talk roller hockey, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Got to keep trying.
So, because that's all about that positive mindset.
Exactly.
You don't know until you ask. Like it's like Wayne Gretzky's always said. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
I was you beat me to it. Yep.
Yeah, and you probably
or Michael Scott or whoever said it.
Whoever you want to say that. Yeah, whoever really said that. But and I've actually got a feeler out to Wayne too, because his dad's a real big proponent for roller hockey. So, but yeah,
that'd be pretty interesting, huh?
Yeah. Right now, the Colorado-Dallas game just started, and the Canes and Rangers game went into overtime.
Good to know. I'm kind of keeping track. If you see me glance off to the side, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, and if I look up, I'm kind of checking it out. We picked a
terrible time to record this episode.
Well, but again, we had no idea this was going to happen.
True, very true.
We did this. We set this up 2.5 weeks ago. So
something like that.
Yeah. So, but man, so tell us a little bit more about, so you have some coaching experience too, right?
Yeah. Coaching in this one-on-one setting, I've gained more recently, and I would put that experience over the course of my 20 years in supervision and leadership. I have had hundreds of employees, done hundreds of reviews, hundreds of one-on-ones and development and all kinds of interaction with my team. I don't think I ever had to give you a review. You were in kind of a different department, but we interacted together quite often.
Yeah, and I think that was because you and we butted heads quite a bit too, but your mindset was, I'm trying to do the best for my team, and I'm trying to do the best for my area too. So it wasn't that I thought you were like one way or the other. I knew you wanted the best, and you knew that I wanted the best.
Right.
And we had to find the common ground. And once we found the common ground, it was like get away from us, because we figured it out.
Where it sucked for me was typically your interaction was with my team. So you dealt with my team dealt with you. I got all the blowback and then had to go settle it all out and sort it out and to go, okay, what happened? Right. So yeah, that was where I was at the disadvantage, but we made it. We built a relationship out of it. I mean, that's what it's all about. Going through dealing with those tough, difficult situations, and again, bringing it back to the mindset of constantly continuous improvement. We did that at our company. It was everything we did, continuous improvement. It's the same for yourself. It's that mindset of, I need to constantly be working on myself. There are ways for me to improve. In hockey, you don't stop practicing. Nope. There's conditioning to do. There's drills to do. Yep.
Go ahead.
Sorry, back to the coaching question you asked. I answered the kind of one-on-one aspect. I do have some coaching experience. My older daughter played softball for 12 years. And for about 6 of those, I was an assistant coach on her travel team. So I do have coaching there, and I coached my youngest daughter's t-ball team too. Looking to get into potentially another softball team with my oldest. She's graduated high school now and moved out of the house and kind of looking to do her own thing and possibly looking to coach her own team. So we might be looking to hook up and run our own little softball team here soon, but we'll see what happens with all that.
Well, that'd be really cool, because then you'll have a chance to really change the mindset of the next generation as well, which is
exactly what we had talked about. She can work on the physical side. I can work on the mental side.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Now, you said she graduated. Is she going to college? Is she playing ball, or is she just?
She went to cosmetology school. She graduated 4 or 5 months ago now. So she's
nice.
He works at a salon here in Grand Haven, and pretty much booked up on her schedule already, and she's doing well for herself. 20 years old already. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where you don't necessarily have to go to college. I mean, I feel like that is overrated nowadays. It's the trade schools is what really should be the focus and the push.
There's so much money in that.
Oh,
they push the college so much, but there is so much money in the trades. I was an electrician for a little while.
Yeah,
I did I was an electrician for a year and a half, 2 years. I was into my second year of my apprenticeship, and they had me working out of town. I spent 2 years out of town on the road 4 days a week, and it just got to be too much. It was the end of it was when I met my now wife, and she had 2 kids. I was like, I can't be gone all week. Like, I have things I need to start taking care of. And they said, sorry, you're low man on the totem pole. I said, well, then sorry, I'm going to go find a new job.
Right. Yeah, it was one of those things. It's the same thing for me too. It's like, I have 2 young kids, both under the age of 5. They're like, oh, come work third shift or come work second shift. And I'm like, no, because with the court, visitation schedule that I have to deal with, I'm not going to put my son through that. Right. He doesn't deserve that. He's,
well, and you only get so much time.
Exactly.
You deserve that time.
Right. And that's, most people don't understand that. Like, on the days that he gets to go see his mom on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I get him up in the morning, I drop him off at school, and then his mom picks him up, gets him for a couple of hours, and then drops him off, and then I gotta put him to bed.
Yeah,
so
that's all you see him.
I get maybe 20 minutes in the morning.
Yep.
20, not even 20 minutes after I pick him up from school. 15 at the most.
And typically that time is probably spent settling him back down, at least at night, or settling him back down to get him ready for bed, because now they had all that excitement from mom's house, which we had the same thing. My wife was married for 10 years with the 2 kids. So I know all about getting kids late at night and then going, oh my goodness, it's a free for all over there. And now we've got to settle them down and get them into a routine, and they want no part of that.
Right. And that's the difficult thing. But at the same time, I wouldn't, I mean, I would change it if I could.
I know what you mean.
But at the same time, I wouldn't change it because, he's an absolute amazing individual. He's so happy. He loves everybody, and he wants to be everybody's friend. And, and it's insane. Like, I don't even know if you've met him yet. But when you do, you're going to be like, holy cow, this kid is phenomenal. Like, everybody at day, like when he doesn't go to school, they miss him. And I'm not joking. Like, they miss him. And like, I remember taking him, because like we've had to switch daycares a couple of times, but kids' parents would come up to me after I've dropped Luke off, and they're like, "Oh, hey, you're Luke's dad," and I'm like, "Yeah." "Oh, well, I'm so and so's dad," and my son cannot, or my daughter cannot stop talking about your son Luke. And I go, "Yeah." And so then, like, if we're leaving the same time, these other parents would be like, "So you're Luke? It's nice to finally meet you. I'm, blah blah blah's, parent, and are you my, whatever's friend?" And he's like, "No." I'm like, "Wait, what?" And he's like, "I'm everybody's friend, Dad." So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Sounds like you've done a hell of a job, man.
I'm trying, man. It's definitely a struggle, man. But it's one of those things where, you grow up in one aspect, and then you have to make sure that they grow up in a completely different environment than what you did.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, so now tell us a little bit about what you guys are trying to do moving forward. Now that now is the podcast going to take a step back?
So we were just doing audio only, and as we knew we wanted to switch over to video at some point. We were hoping to just kind of keep rolling with it, but well, I'm sure, as you know, Joe is a single dad. He's got 2 kids, and we try to set schedules. He tries his best to stick to it, but doesn't always work that way. And because of that, we've just decided to let's push things back. Let's make sure we take our time, get things set up properly, know what we're doing, so we don't roll out crap. The last thing we want is just something we're not happy with. So we decided to take the time and just make sure we do it right. It's just going to be down until probably end of summer. Like I said, Joe's just not sure what his schedule is. He just got told last week he's gone all of this week, and that was on like Wednesday. He's gone Monday through Friday. So he had to figure out kids and all that crap. And he's not sure what's going on right now, and we wanted to make sure we had plenty of time. But other than that, I've just spent the last month revamping our website. We've got a bunch of new services on there. Like you had mentioned, I'm rolling out the one-on-one coaching, different opportunities. I've got different sessions. There is a free discovery session for anybody that might be interested in having a chat where we would just sit down, kind of get to know each other a little bit, and see if there's any opportunity for me to help you or not. If not, we can go our separate ways, have a great old time, and hopefully you'll just continue to follow along, because we also provide plenty of free content. We are all over social media, YouTube. Last night we just did a live stream. I sat and talked about how having goals at the forefront of your mind are important in order to keep you from making dumb decisions. And
that's awesome.
we just sat for an hour or so and kind of talked about different ways to keep those goals in front of you and not lose sight of them, so you don't climb the ladder leaning against the wrong wall, if you will.
Right. And that's a great analogy to look at it too. Now, what are some of the other topics that you kind of, lean towards? We just heard one about making sure that you're following the proper protocol to attain those certain goals that you want to do.
Yeah.
What are some of the other subjects that you kind of touch base on too? A couple of your couple of your title of your episodes.
So some of the past episodes we had, we talked about empowerment in the workplace. We've talked about how to gain respect in the workplace and at home, and how it's more than just commanding it. It's building relationships with people and kind of building that community, and having a support system around you that's how you can truly make change and truly gain respect from a team. And a team can be at work, it can be a hockey team, it can be your family. There's plenty of opportunities to lead. Let's see. We covered quite a bit in the last year. And yeah, with the change to more of the personal growth mindset and performance, we've talked about nutrition, we talk about health. I've been lifting for 15 years. I had at one point looked at pursuing a personal training kind of gig, but never did. But I still enjoy lifting. Like I said, I've been doing it for 25 years now. So something I'm very passionate about, something Joe has recently gotten passionate about. So we talk about health and wellness. We talk about mindset, getting out, enjoying life, not taking anything for granted, because it all passes us by way too quickly.
Yeah. That was something that I saw in a video not too long ago, is that the average eulogy is 5 minutes long for a male. How do they word that? So yeah, and then if you have 5 guys, not 5, what is it, 9? There's 45. Yeah. If you have 45 minutes of people going up there to tell you how much they miss you, how much you're loved, how much they respected you, it's 45 minutes of a guy. The average age is 33.2 months or something like that nowadays. It's 45 minutes of that 72 point whatever.
Yeah,
is just somebody saying they miss you, they love you, and that into 9 people total. Which is insane. So make sure you guys take that time. I know Mother's Day is coming up. Make sure you do the same for your mothers as well.
Yeah, it's right around the corner.
It really is. But don't be afraid to tell your uncles. Especially because if you had an absentee father, or if you had a crap father, you looked up to somebody, especially in your family, as to guide you and to show you, certain ways.
As a stepfather myself, don't forget about the stepfathers. Father's Day isn't that far away.
Right.
You've had a stepfather who has made an impact in your life. Don't forget to thank them, because a lot of times they are left out.
I think that's fathers in general, because I think if you look at the statistics, you got Christmas and Mother's Day, the top 2.
Yeah.
And where does Father's Day fall down? I think it was ranked 23rd. I mean, really? Arbor Day and Labor Day were ahead of Father's Day. We need to try to change that mindset as well. Because without good men in your lives, helping you, pointing you in the right direction, you're gonna just be in a world of hurt. So.
And a man can also be strong, but he can also be willing to share his emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Mental health, as we've all heard, is health.
Yeah,
Taking care of your mind is very important.
Yep.
And while masculinity is being attacked in all kinds of ways in today's age, we can still be men, but we can have that sensitive side.
Yep. Truer words have never been spoken, that's for sure. So I don't know if you know, but the score is 2-0 Dallas right now.
That's not good for you, man.
It's all right. They tend to always get behind real early, and I mean there's still 5.5 minutes left to go in the first. So there's
Dallas's goaltender's been pretty good.
Yeah, I know he's gonna be tough to beat. But when you have the depth, once those Dallas Stars start to get tired, plus I mean Colorado just had 6 days off, so
so are they just rusty?
This will be a throwaway game.
Get through the first period, no warm up.
I think they won't. It'll be 5 minutes left to go in the third before they start, where they score 4 goals in a span of 35 seconds.
The other game's still going on too?
Yeah, it's 3-3 still. 12.5 minutes left. So, yeah, 11.5 minutes. So, but holy smokes, 46 shots to 33. That's insane. Jeez. Carolina is just is on fire. So. But all right, man. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the GCH podcast. Ryan, I cannot thank you enough for coming on the pod to talk with your favorite high-low driver of all time, me, Ben W. Stock. So we're going to catch you guys up on the flip side. Ryan, I'll definitely have you guys come back on, you and your brother, to talk about how things are going here in the next few months once you guys get up and going.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, man. If anybody does want to have a chat or just come check us out, we are the Mapes Mindset on all social media and on YouTube. So come on over, hang out with us, and see what we might be able to teach you.
Cool. And what is your website address so that way we can plug that in?
Currently, we are join2brothers.com. We are in the process of migrating it over to the mapesmindset.com. So okay. We've got a newsletter that you can sign up for if you want to keep up on the updates and be aware of when that change happens. But for now, we are join2brothers.com.
Cool. All right. Well, you heard it here, guys. Ryan, I'm Ben W. Stock. We'll catch you guys on the flip side.
See ya.